Welcome back to our last episode on Kubernetes Multi-tenancy. My name is Guilherme, I'm a DevOps Engineer at xgeeks, and on the last episodes we talked about what is Kubernetes Multi-tenancy and how can different companies from different sizes can use Kubernetes Multi-tenancy for their advantage. Today, in our last episode, we're going to talk about how can we manage a Kubernetes multi-tenant architecture. So let's dive into it. Kubernetes multi-tenancy surely has its complexities, right? From securing tenant data to optimizing resource distribution, the role of a Kubernetes administrator is both vital and demanding. So today, we are here to break down on how to manage Kubernetes multi-tenant architecture into 5 topics. The first topic, and probably the most important one, is the isolation. Isolation is key in a multi-tenant architecture. It's about making sure that tenants, much like the neighbors in the apartment building, have their own private spaces. Kubernetes, as we all know, uses namespaces to achieve this, but isolations go beyond namespaces. For example, network policies. By defining the ingress and egress rules, we ensure that tenants can only access what they are supposed to access. With this, we can enhance the security and maintain the operational harmony, let's say, of all of it. In a shared environment, it's crucial that no single tenant consumes all the resources available, because, let's face it, all the other tenants would be very mad. Kubernetes can tackle this with something called resource quotas and limited ranges. Resource quotas can set the overall limits on resources, like CPU and memory, and the limit ranges fine-tune this by specifying a minimum and a maximum resource for the limits, ensuring that we have a fair and efficient resource distribution across all tenants. It's important to understand what is happening inside our clusters, how tenants use the resources. Imagine that it's like keeping an eye on utility usage in our apartment. And we need to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Tools like Prometheus can gather the detailed metrics, and Grafana can turn these metrics into something human readable. This allows cluster administrators to identify overuse and underused resources, potential bottlenecks, and even opportunities for optimization of some resources, ensuring that the cluster remains in a balanced state and high-performance state. This is also very important because we need to monitor the usage, because we don't want to impact the tenants that are inside already the cluster and new tenants that want to come into the cluster. We need to allow tenants that are inside the cluster to grow and new tenants to join our existing cluster. If you are living in the apartment, everyone needs to follow certain rules, right? If they want all to coexist together in harmony. Kubernetes addresses this with role-based access control, which governs what actions the users can perform within their assigned namespaces. Think of it as giving apartment residents keys to their own units, but not to the entire building. We don't want tenants to mess up our clusters, right? Additionally, enforcing data encryption and making sure that your company's standards and policies are in place ensures that the tenant data remains very secure and operations comply with all the legal requirements that your company might have. Some tenants might have specific needs, and it's crucial to meet the needs of each tenant because of operational efficiency, let's say. But also this is a little tricky. We can have default config maps and secrets that allows administrators to customize environment variables, sensitive information like secrets and so on. And this ensures that each tenant can have their environment configured in the way they like it. Tenants must follow some rules nonetheless. Managing a multi-tenant Kubernetes architecture, we also bring some challenges. For starters, high availability of the whole system is critical. You need to remember that right now, we are not responsible for a single application. We are responsible for multiple applications or even multiple teams that share one single infrastructure. Ensuring that services are always accessible, we need to have a very good disaster recovery plan, so that if anything happens, we are prepared and we don't impact a lot of customers, teams, applications. Another example is upgrades to the system. For example, Kubernetes upgrades. They can also pose another challenge. Everyone inside the multi-tenancy cluster will be impacted by your upgrades. So everyone needs to upgrade at the same time. That's why communication with our tenants is very important. We need to align everyone, and everyone needs to follow the defined schedule, let's say. In terms of security, as we all know, it's always a concern, right? Implementing comprehensive network policies and routine security audits can and will help. And last but not least, all the compliance that your company might have adds another layer of complexity, which requires a good policy enforcement, good processes, good guidelines, and regular reviews to adapt to constant changing regulations. Despite all these challenges, all these hurdles, with careful planning, continuous monitoring, and adopting best practices, these challenges can be successfully overcome. And that's it. We reached the end of our series on the Kubernetes multi-tenancy. I know that this may sound complex, but it's rewarding, I'm sure. Share in the comments below if you use Kubernetes multi-tenancy, if you want to try to use Kubernetes multi-tenancy, we are here to help. If you want to check the previous videos, click here. And remember, follow xgeeks, subscribe to our channel if you want to learn more about tech knowledge, and see you next time.